Good afternoon, Master Paul. How are you doing today?
Hi, good afternoon, Khoa. Good to see your good-looking face.
Thank you so much, and thanks for being here with us today. Happy Father Days. I hope you have a wonderful Father Day weekend.
Yeah, we had a family get-together yesterday with our two sons and their wives.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being here with us today, Master Paul. Could you kindly introduce about yourself briefly, please?
Okay, I am a professional Feng Shui practitioner. I do two main things: Feng Shui for the business, for the house, for development, for big or small projects, all kinds. And this second part I do a lot is life charting, life reading, to chart out people's whole life from beginning to the end.
Right.
So those are the two main things I do. There are other things I do, but those are not my profession.
I
Okay.
see. Yes.
So now my background is a little complicated because in 1972 I graduated from University of Waterloo Computer Science, and then I moved on to get my business administration degree. So that's my heydays,
Yeah.
in those early days, and I've been in the corporate world for 20 somewhat years, out of which 18 of those years I was in management. So about 30 years ago, I was actually director of IT at CIBC
Yeah.
and head of the computer department of Wigandhi. That was 30 years ago. So I learned Feng Shui as early as 1976, 44 years ago.
Yeah.
And I began doing it on the sideline in 1985. And by 1993, I've been doing it full time so far. So 27 years in the business.
In the field, yeah.
And so with that, armed with those diversities of work, so I could help people from all kinds of walks, whether they're engineers, architects, accountants, doctors, lawyers. My clients are all over the world. So far, I have serviced in the life charting side over 20,400 clients. In the
Wow,
feng shui side, over 15,000 clients.
that's very
As of
impressive.
today, I'm advisor to 40 builders and 9 banks in Toronto alone. And my clients are from more than 70 countries. So I've done a lot of work too in both China, Indonesia, and other countries
Wow,
all over the world.
very, very,
That's where
very
I come
impressive.
from.
Yes, I'm very grateful to have met you, Paul. So, can you share with us what is like briefly what is feng shui, and is it like a science or is like superstition?
I would suggest that vast majority of people doing this are superstitious.
Mm.
I have to honestly say that. The reason is, even though feng shui is actually extremely scientific, it's all mathematical. But look at it that way, over the hundreds of years of change, things changed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because feng shui was dated back to 5 to 6,000 years ago. When it was first created, it was aiming actually at military strategies, military maneuvers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about 5,000 years ago. That's when the compasses were created in China. Okay, that's called the compass card. It's like a cart. So
Yeah.
they mount the magnet on it and direct the positioning. And the first emperor in China won the battles and won the war eventually using this. Part of it is this technique.
Mm-hmm.
And he used this technique to identify directions so he can work out his military maneuvers. And then he finally united China. That's 5,000 years ago. That was a yellow emperor. Okay, so from that point on, for many, many, many years, this technique had to be used in the like a high level, high ranking officials, not for the common folks.
I see.
And so there over time, countries unite, countries broke up, states unite, states broke up. So obviously, this thing would go to the common folks eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but it was not that organized for those thousands of years, not until not that long ago. So like about as long as the Tang Dynasty, so about the 8th AD, 8th century AD, or 9th century AD. So that's a time when Feng Shui came into a form, in a kind of organized form, and then began to spread among the people. And then the second stage of Feng Shui before that, other than military maneuvers, was actually extensively used for burials. Because there's a firm belief among the folks in those days that after death, the spirits will go to the higher level, and if it's buried properly, these spirits or these energies will benefit the descendants.
Yeah.
So actually, about the fourth century AD, okay, a book was written called the Bible of Burial. It's a big book, how to bury people, or scientifically. So that's when the word Feng Shui came into. Because prior to that, Feng Shui was not called Feng Shui. Feng Shui was actually called geography. Today's word geography. Okay. And some people also call Feng Shui the science of the compasses.
The sign compasses.
Okay. They call the science of the universe and the land. They translate the word compasses to a different way. So mainly it's dealing with the nature's rule, the weather, the climate, the universe, and the earth, how to get the best out of the whole thing as a full package. That's the original meaning of Feng Shui. But when Master Khoa, GEO Master Khoa, wrote this book of burial, he said that at the preface, he said some very important line. He said the energies of the universe were stopped by the water and would dissipate in the wind. So from that point on, people use the word wind and water. And wind is Feng, Shui is water. So Feng Shui meaning wind and water. That means the science of collecting energy and dissipating energy. That's the real essence of Feng Shui. That's what we are doing. How to collect energy, how to dissipate energy. To make it simple.
So basically, it's not really superstition. It's like a science, right?
Yeah, but when it's down to so many years and dynasties changes, things got changed. And then in the hands of people who had to initially, who went to the common folks and to make a living, they had to make it mysterious. Because when you make it mysterious, you become God. People have to listen to you, and you can charge anything you like to charge. Usually they don't charge. They don't say they charge anything. They say, "Oh, that packet would do it," but that packet is a real something. Even in places like Hong Kong, a master could easily charge up to $1 million.
Wow.
Per reading. Again, there are people willing to pay it. Okay.
Yes.
So, but in the essence, it had nothing to do with resistance. Because, for example, I myself have absolutely no religions.
I see.
Okay. So I only believe in science, and I only believe in results. So the essence is what you do, what results should it produce? Has it produced? So that's what the scientific approach is like. So that's where. So why do people want Feng Shui? That's also interesting.
Can you share with us?
Why this could be very important. Now the reason is very simple, because we found out that in our life we go through a lot of ups and downs. When we're on the high side, things are so smooth. You virtually wake up and the money is waiting for you. When you're at the low point, no matter how you bang your head on the wall, you just blink your head, you get nothing. And when people try so hard, at the last point, gone, fall apart. Real estate things, for example, you take a car now for 40 readings, God forbid. Finally got one, you almost got it. The last one, something happened, bingo, gone. So very disappointing. So when things seem to be out of control, out of what you can do, people will look for other ways how to make it. People will take courses, like motivation courses. Okay, people will get teachers. People will try hard, but then they found out over time, if Feng Shui is done properly, things actually could happen.
Mm.
Why? Because Feng Shui actually deals with energies around us, energies from within us. Okay, so especially when we're on the low point, a lot of things seem to be out of control. So no matter how hard, so there are three ways. One, because it's given. Given is the moment you're born, your high points and your low points in life are determined.
So it's like
But
called given.
only the master can calculate it. So on the high point, most people would take it easy. They still do well, but they may not achieve the high point. What a waste.
Mm-hmm.
And when people are at the low point, then they don't know what to do. They become broke, bankrupt, or they got lost. They starve. So this is called a born with factor. But over the hundreds of years, they found out even if you're at the low point, but if you can maneuver the energies around you, that is by doing Feng Shui, things can change. So that's earth factor to help the bond with factor.
Yeah.
Okay. And the third factor is the people factor. Okay. For example, from live reading, I pinpointed to my clients how they can survive such a low period, how can master a high period, what kind of people do they need at certain times in life. So the third factor is the people factor, which can only be found from live reading. But for the common folks, the more direct, more effective way is using the earth factor to make things happen. That's where Feng Shui is.
I see.
So Feng Shui, in other words, is a tool.
It's
a tool to make things happen or to make things not to happen.
No. So can you share like what is the common principle in Feng Shui?
Feng Shui is divided into two major parts.
Mm-hmm.
One part is called space.
Space.
Space is the shapes of things, what's surrounding you, what you are into, that's the shapes. Mm-hmm. For example, corners, what does it mean? A T-joint street, what does it mean? And a curving road, what does it mean? Or toilet on top of the entrance, what does it mean? Every detail is called a shape. But there's a more important part of Feng Shui, that's timing.
Timing, okay.
Because in order to really make Feng Shui work, you have to match the time of the universe and of the earth. You have to calculate it. To find out, because at different times in our life, energies work differently. So today, for example, a wealth center could be on, say, the east side, but at a different time in space, this money center may shift to other parts of the house. So you have to calculate. So that's an effect of time. So basically, it's time and space constitute Feng Shui. So a master had to clearly identify this. And the third factor, space-time, is matching. Matching with what? With the person.
Matching.
For example, even the most run-down, the most terrible house may have somebody that fits.
Yes.
Even the best house may not fit everyone.
I see. And
I've proven a case in hundreds of cases. I've proven it. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, years ago, I had a good friend. Now, most of my clients become friends. So I call them friends. Is they spotted a house with almost like a T-junction. Everybody said, don't buy it. You'll go bankrupt. You'll be in big trouble. So he got me. He really wanted, price is good. Because the T-joint, he could even negotiate the pricing more. So he got it. You know what? He became extremely wealthy.
I see.
Because it depends on what can be done, how good the master is to make it happen.
So that is like the matching principle, right?
Yeah, so time, space, and matching.
I see. So because I know you teach a course in the real estate board, am I correct?
For 2 years in the 2000s, in the early 2000s.
You also mentioned about all of this element of this principle. So for those who, let's say, looking into either buying or selling home, is there anything that they should be aware of
Now, it's certain very basic principles of Feng Shui should be kept in mind. Okay, that we're dealing with space. Space is something you can see. Your timing is something you need to calculate. So, but most folks can see.
Yeah.
So certain principles. For example, if you are selling or buying a house, but it's on the T junction, that means the street runs straight to the house. First thing, identify the T junction. Whether it's running toward your main entrance or running to your garage.
Okay.
If it's running to your garage, it's no issue.
Okay.
The issue is only if it's pointing exactly at your entrance.
Okay.
But if your entrance is 5, 6, 7 steps above the ground level, there's some houses are elevated, then the effect will be minimized.
I see.
Okay, it's not like on the level. On the level, God forbid, a bit dangerous. So that's something common. Second, when you walk in, you want to make sure the staircases do not run directly toward the entrance. Otherwise, it's money in and out.
Oh, so when you walk in, make sure you're not facing directly to the staircase.
Yeah, but then you also need to identify 2 other things. Because Feng Shui also depends on size and distance.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I have a stairs coming in, but that's 10, 20 feet away. That's no issue.
Okay.
But it's 4, 5 feet away, it's an issue.
Okay. So
people had to make that judgment too, not so simplistic. Second, for example, for back split homes, a lot of homes built in the 1970s, about 40, 50-year homes, especially in Scarborough or Willowdale, in the older neighborhood. So you see, when you walk in, you see one stair goes up, the another stairs goes down, up and down. Okay, so it's a major issue. Usually, yes and no. Because these stairs are very short, just a few steps, no big issue.
I see.
But these stairs goes way up, holy, that you roll down, you'll be like, go to hit your bum, crazy. That's no good. Okay, so you have to make that distinction judgment, distance and size. Okay, another thing is when you walk in the house, is the stove, the cooking stove right in front of you, visible. Some older houses like Parkdale have that issue. Okay, Victorian style houses, because they're so narrow. Yet you see the kitchen, but you don't see the stove. It's not that bad.
Okay. So try to avoid as soon as you walk in, as long as you don't see the stove, that's fine. Yeah,
because to see a stove meaning the money cannot be generated. Another thing is when you walk in, is a toilet right at the door. Okay, so that's no good because it means something dirty and bad for generating wealth. And with the same token, right above the entrance is a toilet on top of the entrance, which makes sense. What if you have a blockage? You don't want this dirty water to run into your entrance.
I see.
Yeah, that's a toilet. But a lot of people generalize it to be the washroom. It's not true because some washrooms are quite large. So if the toilet is on the other wall, not on top of the entrance, then it can be accepted.
I see.
So fine details like that. So
those are the most visible that you can point out right away. I see.
And most things are right at the entrance. And also the size of the foyer is important. In the foyer, no matter how small the house is, the foyer cannot be too small. Because foyer is like a reservoir. So when the money comes in, you need a reservoir to hold it. And if it's too small, too narrow, too short, it cannot hold much money.
I see.
Because I done some 4,000 or 5,000 square foot houses. Because they're older houses, for some reason, the way they build it, too many rooms. So as a result, they make the entrance foyer area very tiny. So that means even though it's a big house, there's no money.
I see. So those are the main...
Very visible.
Visible, okay. So those are more likely for either the freehold home, like detached, semi-detached. What about the condo? Like anything that we should be aware of if
condos are
building?
Yes, condos are very tricky too. Now, the one most common problem with condos was when you open the door, there's a closet with a big mirror in front of the door.
Yes.
People have seen a lot of it. That's
Yeah.
no, okay, because drains the energy. The second most common mistake in condos is the stove and the sink directly facing.
Mm,
Water and fire conflict. That's very common.
I see. So avoid the stove and the sink opposite.
Directly opposite. If
Directly.
they are at an angle, it's not bad, but unfortunately, as you said, condo space is limited.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, bingo. And what does it do? Can cause relation issues, divorces, arguments.
I see.
Yeah. So those two are the most common problems with condos. The third most common problem with condos is when you lie down in your bed, there's a beam on top of you.
Mm.
A beam, because they need space for the pipes to run through the house. They put it on top.
I see. So avoid those with the beam
Yes,
up when you lie. Okay.
that can cause health issues.
I see. So
Okay.
I remember because some of the home I see, when you just mentioned about when you open the door and you see the closet mirror, it applicable to the detached or semi-detached home as well, right?
That too, yeah. Some houses too, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be avoided.
Mm-hmm. So if we cover that window, sorry, the glass door,
The mirror.
the mirror, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people just change the mirror door to a normal door. That can solve it.
I see.
But the other solution is they can actually put a drape on it. So you walk in, it's a nice picture, it's a nice drape.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or some people just put some plastic cover that doesn't reflect. That will also do it. But there are many reasons, many ways. So when the agent confronts such a situation, for example, it's a house they're going to sell, and they can expect some issues unless the market is so hot, so crazy. Then it's different. But that's the good old days.
But it's very helpful for us as a professional to know a little about this, even if for those who don't believe in it. I still believe it's very helpful to be aware and know a little bit of this.
So in that case, it's a good idea to get a real Feng Shui master to come and help.
Definitely.
You know what? For a few $100, it's worth the thing. You can write off tax anyways, instead of get stuck with an unsellable listing.
Yeah.
Wasting tens of thousands of dollars in commission.
Yes, I totally agree. Yes, because like personally, I feel like it's very helpful to first of all be aware of this visible thing, and then next step would be bringing on a master like yourself to really help with either purchase or sell of
Yes.
because I know you, like a lot of big builder, having you on the board as well to help them with the construction, right? With the
and that actually helps them enormously. For example, years ago I helped Minto 88, which is on the northeast of Young and Shepherd. I make that the best seller. They were sold just at lightning speed. Yeah. Because the design at the beginning. Okay, I named the project and I also named the name of every unit.
Every model.
In the model, yes. And I just picked up 2 major projects in Markham. So we're doing the same.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Paul. I'm very grateful for your professional and sharing. Like it was really helpful for myself, and I would love to share back with the community, with my college, as well as the client.
Sure.
For all of this information, and for those who would love to reach out to you, Paul, is it okay for me to share your phone number and email address?
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so
just
much,
say
Paul.
This quickly: 416-606-8332 is my cell.
Yeah. Thank you. And I will share with them your email address as well.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. All the best to you. Have a good day. And be healthy and safe.
Thanks.
And
You
do
too.
well.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks.